Welcome to the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST, a podcast that covers a wide range of topics. So come chill with us on Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Here's your host, Mr. Anderson.
Welcome, everybody, to episode 81 of the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. I am your host, Mr. Anderson. Thank you for tuning in today on the 3rd of March, 2022. I definitely appreciate you guys tuning in, taking time out of your hard day, taking time out of your day just to kind of hang out with me for a few minutes, 4 times a week, man. I tell you, it's definitely a blessing, so I'm definitely appreciative of my subscribers. I'm appreciative of the likers. I'm appreciative of the followers, the connectors, everybody. As you can see here, all my social media, my websites, it's just like a rolling train. I could be found anywhere. So thank you for tuning in. But what I need y'all to do is tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworker, tell the cat you don't like about the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. Because this thing is going. I ain't stopping. I ain't quitting. It's fun for me. It's mental therapy. I get to tell stories, get to share life lessons, talking about gym shoes and the Army and Marines and all this other stuff and family. So definitely glad to be a part of your day. Thank you again. I am honored. All right, so today on Gym Shoe Stories on the Thursday, we're going to talk about 2 shoes that I've enjoyed wearing over the years. Again, some more than others. We're going to talk about the Nike Air Huarache, and we're going to talk about the Nike Air Presto. And I'm going to break them down into categories like we always do. I'll talk about the history of both shoes. I'll talk about the specs of both shoes. I'll talk about the nostalgic emphasis of both shoes. And I'll talk about the comfort of both shoes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started talking about the Nike Air Huaraches and the Nike Air Presto. So we're going to talk about, first thing we're going to talk about is the history. Now, the Nike Air Huarache, as you can see here, was born in 1991, like it's a baby or a person. It debuted, and I say that, it debuted in 1991 by designer Tinker Hatfield. Everyone knows about Tinker Hatfield if you're familiar in the gym shoe world, in the sneaker world, or the footwear world. Tinker Hatfield designed multiple Air Jordans and many other Nikes, especially during that 80s and 90s era. And I think he's still currently designing Nikes. But he designed the shoe in 1991, and it debuted. And everyone says, okay, what does Huarache mean? It looks like Huarache or Huarache. What does that word mean? Actually, it's from, I want to make sure I pronounce this right, Huarache, which translates in English to sandal. So if you crush this neoprene down, what does it look like? It looks like a sandal, right? That was the main emphasis of the Nike Air Huarache, right? Some other key components to it. Socks. If you look at the neoprene of the Nike Air Huarache, and neoprene is that same material that you use for waist trainers and some of your fitness and exercise equipment. The way this shoe is designed, the way Nike and Tinker Hatfield, the intent of this shoe was to not wear socks with it, to allow free-flowing sweat through your feet, and all this neoprene will soak up all the feet, soak up the excess sweat. Now, a lot of people actually wear socks with these. I've seen them. My recommendation is to not wear socks with these, especially in the summertime. And if you don't wear socks with these, you know my golden rule. If you wear shoes without a sock, please put on some daggone foot powder, because then your feet be smelling like full court basketball, sweaty and funky. Foot powder, ladies and gentlemen, or no-show socks. Phenomenal shoe, the Nike Air Huarache, and I go into the specs as well. So let's talk about the Nike Air Presto specs, or the history of it. The Nike Air Presto actually debuted at the Sydney Olympics in 2000, right? Look at this shoe. First time anyone has ever laid eyes on it was the year 2000. And the original tagline of this shoe from the designer, Toby Hatfield, was the T-shirt for your feet. A T-shirt for your feet. You know how a T-shirt feels, a very comfortable T-shirt. You slide this sucker on, it feels like new money. That was the intent of the Nike Air Presto when it debuted in 2000, a T-shirt for your feet. Phenomenal shoe, the Nike Air Presto. And I'll go into the history. Nike Air Huarache and the Nike Air Presto. So let's go ahead and talk about some other things with the Nike Presto as well. If you go back to episode 36, 2 December 2001, I tell a unique story about running in a pair of Nike Air Prestos. Not these, they were blue. A pair of Nike Air Prestos in Germany in 2000. And a lot of that running I was doing in these Prestos probably contributed to a lot of my foot issues that I have today. These are not the most comfortable shoes when it comes to running. And now I'll go ahead and talk about that later on. But again, reference episode 36, 2 December 2021. And I talk about running in these shoes in Germany in 2000. Phenomenal shoe. All right, so let's go ahead and move on to the specs. Now, again, I already showed you as a tease, when you push this neoprene down, it looks like a sandal, right? This shoe is phenomenal. Phenomenal shoe. Look at that toe box. Nice cushioned toe box. Now, you look at this color, you may say to yourself, well, that's a pink shoe. My kids call this shoe pink. To me, it's either salmon or hot lava. But again, look around the toe edge. Phenomenal. Look at that crafting. The way this shoe was designed was freaking phenomenal. Look at the way the materials kind of mesh through each other. This neoprene with the Huarache logo, phenomenal. Look at the daggone, the lacing. You have your support lacing down here at the bottom, and then you have your top lacing at the top. I never known anyone to utilize this support lacing at the bottom. If it is, it's probably people that actually run where you need additional support. But I think if you rocking these on a regular, you can definitely just utilize the first row of strings and not those supporting strings. Again, you look at the back with the Nike words. Again, you have these hooks. Nike love their little hooks. Got the hook on the tongue and the hook in the back as well. This shoe, if you've never worn a Nike Huarache, it feels like a slipper. It's a very soft shoe. Now, this sole is very soft. It's very rubbery, but it has a unique toughness to it, and it's very functional. And again, you look at the Nike Air embedded right in here in the back, on the back heel. Very strong shoe, a nice strong bottom. This shoe, I've worn this shoe probably about 5-6 times. I originally bought this shoe in Korea at a Nike store, an actual Nike store, not none of them fake ones. But this shoe, again, is phenomenal. Debuted 1991, designed by Tinker Hatfield. Look at that. Beautiful shoe. And then you know what? Oh, look, Ma, got a sandal. Phenomenal shoe. Let's go ahead and transition to the Nike Air Presto. Nike Air Presto, just like its cousin, the Huarache, has a neoprene as well. The neoprene is more, they have more of it, a more distribution of it on the Presto than actually did the Huarache. Look at the Nike logo on the toe box. Now, when you look at this toe box compared to the Huarache toe box, this part of the toe here, your toe has a little more support for if you're running, you hit something hard. I think you're a little more protected than that toe on the Huarache. Just a little bit. Well, the Huarache has that rubber part, but just all around, that's just one central area. But all around, you got a little support in here. Now, if you're looking at the neoprene here, I like the neoprene of the Huarache better than the neoprene of this shoe. Now, one unique thing I found out about this shoe over the years, if you look at this curve, doesn't it look like a Nike logo? Doesn't it look like the Nike swoosh? That's pretty unique. I don't know if that was the intent of the design, or is that something that just the way the shoe was constructed. Nike hook in the back, and you probably can see the Nike Air in the back here with the Presto logo. Now, again, I wore these shoes, not this one, but I wore a version of these shoes in 2000. And I'll tell you, if you listen to that sneaker story, my foot was daggone hurting in this shoe. Not the most comfortable shoe to wear in terms of running. In terms of just wearing on a regular, definitely. Now, you look at the word, the Nike Presto is embedded right in here. Again, this is another phenomenal shoe. I say that all the time. And the only type of shoes I will buy are phenomenal shoes. Nike logo embedded right here on the inner arch. Now, if you look at this shoe, again, the Nike logo right here, this shoe, comfort-wise, stylistic-wise, is a very functional shoe. It's a beautiful shoe. It's a different shoe. Because before 2000, your running shoes didn't have a look like this. Before 1991, your running shoes didn't look like this. So this is a running shoe. Think about that. This is a running shoe from 1991 the Air Huarache, Nike Air Huarache. This is a running shoe from 2000, the Nike Air Presto. This is a 9-year difference, ladies and gentlemen. But look at the technology of 9 years. Think about it. 1991 and 2000. And I would tell you, if I look at both of them right now, I will be willing to say the Nike Air Presto and the Nike Huarache, I wouldn't say they're brothers. They're probably distant cousins. And one contributing factor, because they both have that neoprene, right? Which is supposed to be great for running, and everyone works out with the neoprene. That was the specs. Let's go ahead and move on to nostalgic reasons. Now, my nostalgic reasoning for this shoe, I don't really have one. Again, this shoe came out, I was in high school when the Huarache debuted in 1991. But I wasn't the type of person, I chased a lot of gym shoes, and I still do. But I didn't find myself back in 1991 chasing the Huaraches. I was more into the Air Maxes, not really so much into the Huarache. Because I never really, at the time, I didn't like this whole sandal look, because I'm like anti-sandals, right? You probably heard the story. But the thing that really got me going with the Huaraches, as you can see here, the University of Michigan basketball team in 1992 debuted the basketball version of the Huaraches. And them things sold out. I couldn't even get a pair. That's when I started having a love affair with the Nike Air Huaraches. As far as the running shoe, I didn't really dig it. I thought it was cool, but I didn't really dig it at the time because I was more of basketball shoes and I enjoyed wearing Air Maxes. But I tell you, it grew on me because this was one of the first times when Nike had a shoe and it didn't have the actual Nike logo on it. Again, Nike in the back, Nike Air in the back, but it didn't have that traditional swoosh on the inside of the shoe or the outside. I love that Huarache logo. Again, this shoe, Huarache, which means sandal. Phenomenal shoe, the Nike Air Huarache. Now, my nostalgia reason for the Nike Air Prestos, now, 2000, as I said before, you look at that episode 36, I actually wore a pair of these, and just to give you a quick snapshot of the story, I wore a pair of these in Germany, and we went on a battalion run, and my S3 Sergeant Major was retiring. So he wanted to go on his one last run, his swan song, before he officially retired and rotated back to the States. So initially, we were briefed the day prior. We're going to have a short 3-mile run, nothing crazy, just low threat, just a nice run, seeing some cadence, and we good. We ended up running about 8 or 9 miles that day, and I had these daggone Prestos on. I shouldn't even freaking wear them. I had on socks because, Army uniform, PT uniform is mandatory. You are required to wear socks. So I had these freaking socks on, and I'm running, and I tell you, my foot was hurting all up in here in the instep near the toe and also the arch as well. But I tell you, the shoe was phenomenal. I wish I still had those. But the shoe it's a great looking shoe. There's nothing really ugly about this shoe. Again, this is symbolic of the Huarache with the neoprene and all that stuff. But yeah, very consistent. A beautiful running shoe. Beautiful. Now let's transition to comfort. Now, if you talk about comfortability, I never ran in these Huaraches. I've walked in them, never ran in them. I've ran in a pair of Prestos and I wasn't too happy with it. But if I'm looking at comfort as a scale from 1 to 10, just rocking these on the regular and having a history of pain in these, if 10 feels great like a cloud, I would give this a 9, and I will award the Nike Presto with a 7. Now, if I'm just wearing them on the regular, if I'm just chilling with some shorts, some cargo shorts in the summertime, because you should be wearing these in the summertime, ladies and gentlemen, I would give it to Huarache. Hands down, the Huaraches, in my opinion, are a better shoe than the Nike Prestos. Now, that's not saying that the Nike Prestos are ugly. However, the year 2000, I had a lot of pain wearing these Nike Prestos. I haven't had any type of discomfort wearing these Huaraches. The Nike Huarache and the Nike Air Presto. One from the year 1991 and one from the year 2000. Both phenomenal shoes, man. Can't go wrong with them. Summertime, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you guys tuning in. That concludes today's gym shoe story on a Thursday. I thank you guys for just hanging out with me again, as I said in the intro. Thank you again for all your support. Again, please tell a family, tell a friend. We're doing some good things over here at the Trust and Believe NOMADCAST. I'm having fun. This is my therapy. Get to talk about life and everything associated with it. So please continue to subscribe, follow, connect, like, do all the etc. Thank you again for your support. Appreciate it. All the praises due. All the best. Tomorrow, remember, we got Finally It's Friday. And I think I'm going to break down two musical phenomenons from back in the 60s and 70s. Two musical phenomenons. And I'm going to have them clash. And I'm going to have the top songs from each era. So stay tuned for that. That'll be fun. We're going to talk about the Motown sound versus the Philadelphia sound. So if you know anything about old school music from the 60s and 70s, tomorrow, definitely tune in. We're going to have a comparison. Which one was better? The Motown sound versus the Philadelphia sound. We're going to have the groups. I can't play the songs due to YouTube copyright restrictions, and I don't want to get sued. So I may even sing a lyric from some of them songs, but I definitely provide supporting pictures and a little history. So we'll have fun doing that as well. But that'll be tomorrow on Finally It's Friday, and then we close out the week. But today's episode, Gym Shoe Stories on a Thursday, between the Nike Air Huaraches and the Nike Air Prestos, this has concluded. Again, thank you for your continued support. Appreciate you. All praises due. All the best. Let's say it together. Trust and believe. See you guys tomorrow. Thanks.